On returning from the September 1842 camp meeting in eastern Maine, I bought a copy of Elder Charles Fitch's prophetic chart and some publications on the manner, object, and time of the Second Advent.
You've been studying those pamphlets for several weeks now, James. Have you made up your mind what you're going to do?
I have learned much, Mother, but I'm not ready yet. I think I'll attend the camp meeting at Exeter. My Second Advent experience was greatly deepened at this meeting. It was October, and I felt that I must immediately go out into the Lord's great harvest field.
I've prepared 3 lectures, Mother. See, this one removes objections that the time of the Advent cannot be known, and it explains that there is no temporal millennium.
And this one? Oh, yes. It talks about the signs of the times.
And the third one is on the prophecy of Daniel. I'll travel and preach wherever the people will hear me.
I'm glad you've decided to give all to God, James. But how will you travel? Your money is gone, and you don't have a horse.
The Lord will make a way for me to serve him.
What are you doing, James?
Mending the saddle Elder Polly gave me. He gave me that bridle, too.
It looks like it's been nailed together.
I did that. I'll put it on the horse Father lent me for the winter, and then start speaking in the towns around Palmyra. I preached in 4 towns, Mother. The people gave me a good hearing, but I saw no special results.
Never mind, James. God is leading. Leave it in his hands.
James, a message has come for you.
Thank you, Father. Why, it's from a schoolmate of mine. He's engaged to teach at Burnham this winter. Oh, no. He's had an accident. He's lost an eye.
That's terrible news.
He says the doctor tells him he must rest at least 1 more week, and he asked me to teach for him until he's able to take up his duties.
Will you go?
Of course. And it will be a chance to preach to the people in Burnham. My 7 lectures in Burnham were very successful, Mother. For the first time, I realized there is a solemn power in this message, a power to convict people.
Surely God is blessing your efforts, son.
But now I have an even bigger problem. 60 repentant sinners rose for prayers. What do I do with them?
Why not prepare them for baptism?
I couldn't. My small pond of thought was used up on my lectures. I fear if I try to do any more, I'll injure the work that has begun so well.
Why not write to your brother Samuel? He has 5 years' experience as a minister, and he favors the Advent doctrine. I'm sure he'll help you.
Mother, thank you. You've solved my problem. I'll write to Samuel in Vermont immediately. My brother Samuel labored for 6 weeks, baptized the converts, and organized a large church. In the meantime, I continued my work. Father, while I was preaching in the towns around here, I met a gentleman who invited me to visit Brunswick. He said there's been no preaching on the Advent there.
Brunswick is a fair piece down the Kennebec River, James. A good 30 miles.
Yes, and this man suggested I travel along the west side of the river, and the Free Will Baptists will give me a hearing. I'll start at Augusta and travel downstream to Brunswick.
Oh, no, couldn't you wait till spring? This is one of the coldest Januaries on record, and your clothes are thin.
It's already 1843. Father Miller believes Jesus will come sometime between this April and April 1844. I dare not delay. I hope we can find a place to stay tonight, Jonah. You'll be as glad as I to get out of this wind, won't you, boy? I see a light in those trees. Let's see if we can find shelter there. Thank you, sir, for your hospitality.
No thanks necessary. I'm glad of the company.
Here, let me help you open that can. We'll have food in just a few minutes now.
That's enough. Just bend back the lid. There. I haven't made up my mind about this newfangled canned food. It's nice to have peaches in January, but it's sure a bother to open the cans with a hammer and chisel. You should stay the week, Brother White. Elder Pearl will preach here next Sunday in my church, the Christian church.
Elder Pearl? He's an old friend of mine.
Ah.
It would be good to see him again.
Stay, then. You can preach in the schoolhouse during the week.
Thank you, sir. I'll do exactly that.
James, it's been a pleasure to see you again. I'm delighted to know you're preaching Christ's soon coming. Everyone in town has told me how much they enjoyed your lectures.
Thank you, Elder Pearl. I've enjoyed our reunion also. I hate to say goodbye, but I've been invited to speak in the next school district.
God go with you.
This evening I have explained the promise and the warning in the book of Daniel. I've also told you about the prophetic timetable.
Mr. White, may I have your attention, please?
Yes, sir, you have it.
I'm the editor of the Augusta Age, and I want to talk to this congregation about universalism. I can prove that God will not destroy sinners. Will you ask the people to stay and hear me?
I have no further claims on this congregation.
But Mr. White, I must protest. There are only about 25 people remaining to hear my rebuttal. This is unfair, sir.
I cannot order people to stay. It was their choice to stay or go.
You may have won this round, White, but I have friends in this room. We'll see what tomorrow night brings.
Come in. What can I do for you, man?
We're your friends, Brother White.
We've come to warn you. Stay away from the schoolhouse tonight.
It's too dangerous. The Universalists and their friends have gathered a mob of 300 rowdies, and they're determined to break up the meeting.
I must trust in God and do my duty.
We'll go with you then.
The schoolhouse was filled to overflowing with women. The windows had been removed so the men outside could also hear. Surrounding all was the angry mob. I made my way inside. Excuse me, sir, you're blocking my way.
You hear that mob outside? This, sir, is the result of your conduct last night in refusing to hear the Universalist editor. Your meetings will be broken up.
If it is the will of God, let it be so. As I began to pray, a snowball whistled past my head and struck the ceiling behind me. More snowballs followed. My Bible was too wet to read from. The shouts of the mob made it impossible for me to make myself heard as I tried to preach.
You and your Jesus! I don't see him helping you now!
Turn to Christ and prepare your hearts for his coming. In a little time from this, you will call on the rocks and mountains to fall on you. You scoff now, but you will pray then.
Look, Robert, the preacher's holding something high above his head.
Some poor sinner threw this spike at me last evening. God pity him. The worst I wish for him is that he is as happy as I am at this moment.
Look at the preacher now, Robert. He's standing against the wall with his arms spread out, like the Savior on the cross.
Why should I resent this insult when my master had spikes driven through his hands? The Spirit of God worked in the hearts of the crowd, and nearly 100 rose to request prayer. As I left the place, the howls of the mob increased.
Here he comes! Get him! Repent what he needs.
Santa, A man appeared at my side and linked arms with me. As we approached the mob, they parted and we passed through safely. When we were clear, I turned to thank my guardian, but there was no one there.